Hello and welcome back. So this is part 2 of my August wrap up. So I already talked about the first 5 books that I read during the month of August. I'll leave a link to that video up above if you want to check that out. So this is the second set of 5 books that I read during the month of August. I'm sorry this is up so late, but story of my life right now. I'm busy. So the next book that I read, I'm just going in chronological order, is Again But Better by Christine Riccio, and I liked this more than I thought I would, I guess, because I didn't go into it with high expectations, and I actually thought it was pretty cute. I liked the magical elements to it. I thought that it had a really good story. I thought that it had a really good message, especially maybe because I'm a high school English teacher, and I just felt like I have so many kids who leave and go off and start their next journey, and I don't know, I think it's important for them to live life to its fullest and to try new things and to be adventurous, and I liked that. I really also liked how she had like her journal entries incorporated. I thought that was cool. And yeah, I thought it was cute. I didn't really care for the names, which I kind of talked about in my Rhode Island vlog. I'll leave that linked above as well. You can check that out. But I thought this was cute. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I listened to Amal Unbound, and so this is about a girl named Amal who is from Pakistan, and she insults the wrong person, and so then she is kind of taken into like a life of servitude in like the landlord's house. So her life at the Khan estate is very, very different than the life in her village was. She can no longer attend school. She has a lot of duties that she has to do every single day. She kind of makes an enemy out of this young girl named Nabula, I think. It's been a while since I read it. So it's her story. So her story does have a happier ending, and the author talks about how, unfortunately, this is not the case for many people, and especially when people are getting loans from their landlord, like in this case, the landlord is extremely corrupt and uses that loan against them. And so I thought it was interesting to learn a little bit more about Pakistan and Pakistan's like culture and way of life, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well written. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and the cover is gorgeous. Like, look at this cover art. So next I read All These Beautiful Strangers, and this is about a young girl named Charlie who's 17, and when she was little, her mom disappeared. No one knows what happened to her. Charlie and her sister think that her mom just like ran off and is living a life without them, and so they've really been like hurt by this. So they have kind of had like a tougher childhood with it, and their dad is extremely wealthy and sends them off to like these private schools, and so like that's pretty much where they've grown up. And so one day Charlie is walking on her campus, and her uncle, whom she hasn't seen in many, many years, approaches her and shows her all of these pictures. And these pictures make her question what really happened to her mom. And so she begins digging into this. And so what I thought was really cool and well done was you had Charlie present tense, and then you would do flashbacks to her mom and also to her father. So you were able to see like what happened and when, and what her mom was feeling throughout this experience, and what her dad was feeling, and all of that. And I thought that was a really cool touch. Overall, I thought this was a good book. I don't think the ending was a huge shock, so there's that. But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It was different. I was reading so much fantasy that it was nice to pick up something else, so that was a bit refreshing. Would I read it again? No. But I thought it was a good book. So, like I said, I gave this 3 out of 5, or 3.5 out of 5 stars. Ooh, this next book I read was We Set the Dark on Fire, and this was a really, really interesting world. So our main character, Danny, has forged identification papers, and this is a really big deal. So she actually came from the other side of the wall, and her parents had to sacrifice everything to get her these forged identification papers, so she was able to enter into the school. Anyone were to ever find out, she would or could like lose her life. And so like this is a really big deal. She works really hard. She becomes the top student of her class, and when she graduates, they basically not like auction, but like kind of like sell the girls off to like the highest bidder. In a way, if that's what they do, they like get sent to be the wife for a family, and like more prestigious the family, like the better off you're seen and things like that. And so it was interesting, that piece of it. But what's really interesting is that at the Medill School for Girls, you're trained in one of 2 ways. And in one way, you end up becoming like the household manager, and you like handle the servants, and you handle like when you get married, you are like seen out with your husband at parties and things like that, and you work with him like side by side on like important matters, so you have like a lot of more like intellectual conversations and things like that. Now you have the other woman who is trained essentially to like be his mistress, and so he will only hang out with her in different capacities, and like this one has to like serve the other one breakfast with him, and so they work together in order to form like the perfect woman essentially for her husband, which is just like a fascinating concept, like two women for one man. And I don't know, this world was just very interesting, and I really, really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, maybe 4. I loved it. And so there is like a political rebellion that's happening right now. Like people really don't like the social system. So you have like the rich and the super rich who have absolutely everything. You have like the elite, and then you have the poor, and they really have nothing. And so you have this huge distinction. You're beginning to see like the rebellion really taking full force in this book, and I'm definitely going to keep reading it. I really enjoyed it. Hello! So this is Future Emily. As I was editing my video, I noticed that for some reason it cut me out during the middle of my last book. So the last book that I read during the month of August was Radio Silence, and I liked this. I didn't like this as much as other people did. Like there are some people who are completely obsessed with this and think it's like the best book in the absolute world. And maybe if I was a little bit younger, I would connect more with it, but I struggled to connect to the characters and the story. I did think it was good, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. I think I gave this 4 out of 5, maybe 3.5 out of 5 stars. I can't even remember like the names of the characters, but you have this main girl and she's obsessed with this YouTube series called Radio City, and she like does all this artwork for it, and like she constantly is listening to it. She's like its #1 fan, and so the person who creates this is anonymous, and the person reaches out to her and asks if she wants to be the artist for that channel, and she is so excited and says yes. And then she learns that she actually knows the person in real life, and the identity of the person who makes this YouTube series goes out, it gets viral, and his life changes and their friendship changes, and it's their story. It was a good story. I struggled to connect. I like the YouTube aspect of that because obviously I'm on YouTube, and I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. But like I said, it was a decent read. I would put it in my classroom library if I had a physical copy. This is one that I got from my school librarian. So those were all the books that I read during the month of August. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below what were some of the books that you read during the month of August. I will be back from a bookish video soon. As always, keep reading.